Reina, can you accept the requests? Food.
What?
Can you accept the requests?
We're live?
Oh yes, we are live.
Yeah, so hello guys and welcome to watching Stoppage Time, the series where we discuss teams, competitions, players and what's going on inside the game. I'm Reina.
And I am S4yed. First of all, let's talk about what escalated last week.
Yeah.
We casted Special Forces against Nate Crew, one of two matches that were played in round 10, the other matches were cancelled. So we said something about, Special Forces not needing that win, and they are already in the second place, they have secured it. We counted underdogs out after, the terrible performance against Noob Factory in the first round.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah, go on.
you go on, come on.
Alright. Well, yeah, if we see the Special Forces, well, they have been improving throughout the entire group stage, and I think this last game against Nordic Crew was definitely a big statement. And Underdogs did a good game against New Factory in the last round now. They had basically the same lineup as they had at the start of the group stage. The original one, not the unchanged one that they used in the mid stages. They had Axie, LM, Nurmio, Thai, and so on.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
if Special Forces lost that match against not a crew, sorry, underdogs
yeah,
would have secured second place, right? By beating not Noob Factory, sorry.
yeah, they did so, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think that's that for the round, so we should move on to talking about the
Yeah, let's
clubs
recap the season.
who have already quit because 3 games were cancelled in the last round, and it was pretty big deal. The first one being Galatasaray, who folded. The team that was very interesting to
Back
see.
in round 6.
Uh,
Back in round 6, they
yeah,
folded.
that was already
The
in round
first team to
6.
do so.
Yeah. And they did actually have an interesting team, a group of friends who did a good job playing together. Of course, their technical ability wasn't as high to compete in the group with, of course, Rogue and Snazzy, but they did what they could, and we see some staying around. Aguero, Bulent Korkmaz, and Mister, who is I think clubless right now.
He's in Younglands.
Yeah, he's in England now. But it's
Yeah.
sad to see because it was a very new club. It could have been a new story like Special Forces. Where most of the players are from one country and they are very together in it.
Yeah, and the lack of experience really hurt them.
Yeah, but the next one, will be Kiak, who folded right before actually very important games against Napoli. Which is sad to see as well because they really fought really well and they had a very decent squad as well. We saw them pull very good results against Rogue even, and they drew with Napoli. So
Yeah, theoretically they had a chance to qualify
yeah,
when they folded.
they definitely had the chance. If they would have won Napoli in that game, if they wouldn't have quit, they could have went into the playoffs, and it would have been a different story right now. So half of that team is now are in Rogue's Academy, Santa Claus, and are doing very well in there actually. Definitely very promising.
Yeah, yeah, and Leiden is in Younglands. I believe Sinchfu moved again to Rock Family, not sure.
Yeah, I think Sashful went back. We didn't see him play. I think we saw him play in one game and that was it. Which is pretty sad
Yeah.
because he was on loan basically there as well because obviously getting into Rogue's main lineup is very hard. We even saw that from Karagunis, so that was obvious.
Yeah, right.
They had 3 loans. Had Kral, Delict, and Sashfu. Delict doing a very good job as well. One of the best defenders, if not the best defender from Brazil actually right now. And their defense was very mighty actually. But yeah, we saw also Glazy now leaving the team, now joining Napoli, and Kayak itself. Well, I would like to see them play on, but these things happen. But we have a third club as well who founded, right, Sayed?
Yeah, talking about Leamington, this team announced that they are going to disband after the league very early in the season. However, they have had great performances even after they announced that they will disband. But suddenly, as rounds started progressing, the team started deteriorating.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of a paradox, their decision to disband after the cup, right before it was even starting, you know, and Mariano Diaz was already looking for new clubs to join, basically after like round 3 or something. Even though they had players, you know, like Porter, who really shined in that club, and Vin Diesel and Murchik, who didn't actually do a bad job at all in goal. He had to face the most shots, if I recall
Yeah,
correctly, for a very long time. So they gave it their best really, and it was a very interesting mix of players as well. You know, we see players who are very qualified to play in stronger clubs now, like Widowmaker, who is a very decent defender, and Diego who play in not a crew now with Sweet Pumpkin, who joined in the middle of the season.
yeah, we had Polter, the
Yeah,
cyborg, who isn't in the list, but this is the initial list. He moved from Snazzy shortly after this was
yeah,
announced.
they had transfers in the middle of the season actually, like Sweet Pumpkin, Polter, Wing, if I think correctly. I don't know exactly what went wrong for Leamington. They really did well in my opinion, but probably has some kind of issues inside the club. You know, eventually we didn't see Porter play in the latter stages of group rounds, so I guess he
Yeah,
he
definitely.
wanted more out than actually playing it, and he saw that the team is the limit for him, and so on.
Um, my biggest problem with the team disbanding is that their active players are still playing in the same team. They are almost all of them are in Nottingham Crew right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Good luck to
Yeah,
them.
that's very interesting to see. We'll talk about that later. What happens with not a crew now? Well, Sid, you can talk about that maybe. We have costed a lot of not a crew games, and we have seen them. We have seen them a lot. So, what do you think about the exit?
Yeah, it's a team that was the third place in the league that was held before this. They had great performances, great results, but in this cup, just winning one game in a group that is arguably easier than Group A.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Something went wrong for the team, and I expected much more from them.
Yeah, the only draw as well came against underpowered Napoli, who had one player missing. That was the talking point of the round there, definitely, and kind of helped Napoli, of course, get the desired points as well, because at the time, you know, when Kiak was playing against Rogue, these points really mattered. But of course,
Yeah,
not a crew did have the Death Group. B Group had has all the top clubs, you know, New Factory, Underdogs, Special Forces, not a crew.
Leamington Special
Yeah,
Forces.
one had to stay out of the playoff spaces, and uh, not a crew didn't do a bad job, you know. When we look at the games against underdogs, where both were lost basically by a slight margin, and just one or two costly
Yeah,
errors, like Krujek costing a penalty in the first one, or just uh, lack of positioning from Brewer in the other one.
focus. Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah,
Since we spoke about the teams that are out, I believe we should speak about whether we expected them to go out or not. Um, to be honest with you guys, when I started casting, I didn't have an idea about the new teams. I didn't have an idea about the new players. I had a
Yeah,
break, and
I think nobody
yeah,
did, to be honest. Some of them were really surprising.
yeah, but the performances of these teams, the matches were really
Yeah,
fun. Probably more fun than the top teams' games.
yeah, definitely so. I mean, if we look at the games like Rogue against Nazi, you know, I'm not saying nothing. I have nothing against those teams. I'm just saying that, you know, they play a safe game, and when clubs like these two, or let's say even No Factory against a team that plays a very closed game, it happens to be boring, you know. But clubs that are willing to risk it, like Kiak did, or another crew did actually, it's interesting to see, you know, another.
Special forces have a very interesting player
Yeah,
style as
yeah,
well.
definitely, yeah, and their rotation works very well. Their countering enemy tactics works really well, you know, and they are very entertaining to watch. But I think nobody expected anything from Special Forces. You know, everyone sees Special Forces as just some club, you know, who plays every day. But
Expectations,
yeah, you wanted to add something? Yeah,
yeah, expectations. I believe everybody expected the Group A to be, Rogue on top, Snazzy's second place, and the three teams.
yeah. Well, in the sense of the big 3 or 4 qualifying, of course, everything worked out like clockwork. You know, Rogue and No Factory gathering their first position finishes, but yeah, the class difference comes in when you look at the clubs from second to fourth position, and that's where the differences really matter, because underdogs had some very shaky performances as well when they played with their second squad, basically. So yeah,
Yeah, and expectations from individuals. Polter started off strong. Leamington as a whole started strong. So early on, we thought this is a team that could snatch the third place away. But things kept going wrong from that point.
yeah, definitely. For example, I would have thought that maybe Polter joins some other team, but it didn't go that way. Uh, I think he would have been a strong
Yeah.
addition to any team, but it was really. I think his presence in Leamington made Leamington, of course, more powerful and more able to disrupt the balance in the Group B.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
since we were talking about Polter anyway, so let's talk about the individual performances in the group stage. Do you want to bring out anyone here, Said?
Yes, let's start from top to bottom, from left to
Yeah,
right. Um, Porter early on, as we spoke, someone who started on the top of the leaderboard of top scorers, stayed there for 3 rounds straight, um, scored 8 goals in the first round, but then suddenly, I don't know whether it was his fault, the team's fault, or just lack of coordination or focus from the enemy teams. But yeah, he started off strong. Um, will you go for the next
yeah,
one?
Drozdov. Well, not a surprise, but still exceptional. You know, Drozdov has been the top defender in the game for years for now, and he's carrying No Factory really well. Wins headers against anyone, even scores goals, gets into opposing box. You know, it's really hard to play against No Factory when Drozdov is present, because his influence on the pitch is just so strong that you can't really play past him. So the game where Special Forces did the amazing job and Passkid scoring goals was actually very surprising to me.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Drozdov didn't just have the defensive presence, if you will, that he had. He was also attacking. He was scoring. He was
And he
giving
was even
assists.
a goalkeeper
This guy
one
was
game, if
doing
I
everything.
recall correctly. So yeah.
Yeah, he's been
Yeah, and
everywhere.
of course with him we can't leave out Kiro, who is the other backbone of No Factory.
Yeah, and I didn't mention Jiren here, but he is also a very strong defender. These three together make the team
Yeah, I would
impossible to
say
beat.
they are definitely the best defensive duo in the game right now. Maybe you could compare them to
Yeah,
a Rogue Family defense, but Rogue Family defense also switches sometimes. But it's basically all the time same for New Factory, Drozdov, and Kiro. So the third New Factory player as well on this
yeah.
list, Levison.
This guy is right now sitting on the top of the top scorer leaderboard with
Yeah,
Zila at 21 goals, but that could change very soon because we don't know what's the state of Zila, and this guy just keeps
yeah,
scoring.
definitely. Zilla also known as Justin Bieber now also left his club's Nazis, so we don't know where he wants to go or what he wants to do in this future right now. But Levi's will stay on in New Factory, and when we talked about, I think it was round 8 when we interviewed Levy and asked him if he could pass the Vela in the scorer table, and he said like we will wait and see about that, and he did exactly that. He scored these 3 goals in the last round, and you see Levison is definitely a very determined player.
Yeah, definitely. And before we go to the next one, guys, please don't be like this guy, the guy that's speaking right now. And when you do something, just review it. Because I added PJ, wanted to replace him in the list, and I forgot to add him. So I don't think we really need to speak much about PJ. He's like Superman, went to special forces and almost single-handedly changed the
Yeah,
landscape right there.
we were talking about PJ right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he's
and
a very versatile player. When I first joined, well, I took a break from the game, and when I saw him play more often, I honestly thought that he's a very great striker, attacking player. But his defensive work is
yeah,
what really stands out because he he wins headers at an exceptional rate. I mean, he catches on with Kiro and Rostov while being a very small build player. Because he wants to use the pace, he wants to use
yeah.
tricks to get past players and bring the play up.
And Special Forces is a team that has what, two, three good goalkeepers, Ruslan, Yashin, and
Yeah,
maybe something else. Um, but unfortunately, I really wanted to see PJ as a goalkeeper because since you didn't mention that, he wasn't playing as a goalkeeper at all, and he's also a very
yeah,
good
that's
goalkeeper.
surprising actually, but I guess because Special Forces already had Yashin from the start, they didn't want to make any changes really, even though their changes in the squad when they did some worked out pretty well. But I think just Yashin was one of the most consistent goalkeepers throughout the group stage. With yeah,
Also, PJ was probably very much needed in the
yeah,
outfield.
definitely. Without him, they would have had to use some new players, which of course isn't a bad thing. But with that squad that Special Forces have, there's a big difference between how new players play and how they play, and their tactical style is something else.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the next one, let's talk about Napoli players because while most of them flopped, sorry, those guys really, really played well. The first one is Reina. Ryan, you know him well, a very good friend of yours. Um, yeah, he's been a great goalkeeper, getting the first team of the week against none other than Rogue, which is, being a goalkeeper in the team of the week by itself is a big achievement. He did it, sorry, against Rogue. So not much to speak about right here. Really great
Yeah, and
performer.
I wish to improve more in the playoff stages because recently we haven't had well practice in the competitive games, and hope we can move on from that. So next one is Mumik. Well, I would say he has been a very influential and key player for us thanks to his defending, thanks to his passing, and thanks to his long shots, which has tested even Rico. So
Yeah, another one is Snazzy's player who was loaned to Noob Factory. I mean, sorry, Napoli. Talking
Yeah.
about Mumek. Um, this guy has been doing everything, not as actively as Drozdov, but that's understandable. Probably nobody expected him to do nearly as much as he did. He was defending, he was saving from the goal line, he was attacking, he was a goalkeeper once,
Ye
maybe.
yeah,
Not
he
sure
was
about that.
in one game. He was a goalkeeper as well as a sub. But I don't know what to say really. He's a shadow player. You know, he doesn't really boast with anything, but he's really important to have. His passing, you know, has been already discussed like years ago. So I think he would be a good asset to any team. You know, the only thing that stops him is his ping and sometimes disconnections, but I think he's really vital to our team.
Yeah, another one is Darren Polka. This is a guy that was like the genie, the lamp genie of Napoli. Napoli started off weak, didn't have the right assets in the offense, and he came and in one match, I mean, sorry, two matches, he scored more than entire Napoli did in the two previous matches.
Yeah, I'm very happy that Darren returned to the game. You know, he was a former Napoli player as well. Took a very long break, and I was very, I really rejoiced when I saw him again, and he decided to play for us more often. So, and he also links up very well with Hamza. So I'm happy that they can do their job well in attack, and he's really a clinical player as well. Great movement, great passing, and yeah, well,
Um, yeah, definitely. Can we interview him right now because apparently he will be busy a bit later.
I will see that in a second. So yeah, he will be joining us in a minute. Welcome, Darren.
Okay, that's great.
What is going on? I have to leave in like 15 minutes, so. But I don't think I'm going to be talking for
Right.
15 minutes, so.
So what?
Yeah, no problem. We wanted to interview you so bad that we made sure you do it before you leave.
What can you say about your performances yourself? You know, you have been really overperforming for all of the rounds you played in so far.
Um, well, honestly, I don't even think I've done that well. I just feel like it's like a lot of the goals I feel like were just simple like tap in goals. Um, I'm pretty pleased though about our performance against Not a Crew where we tied them even though we had 5 players and they had 6. I feel like our defense, I think it was who was it? I think it
Mark
was
and
like
Razor,
Mark
most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm really pleased about our performance against Not a Crew. And yeah, about like my, I think I already said what I wanted to say about my performance. Like I feel like people overpraise my performance, but I don't know. I got 5 goals and I'm happy with that.
Regardless of how you scored your goals, regardless of how you see it, you proved yourself, and you should be like expecting to keep proving yourself in the next match against Special Forces. Should you be on?
Yeah, I think special forces. So I think like there's
Wait, wait, hold on a second. Is it
Okay.
Yeah,
against the
Special
Special
Forces
Forces, Ryan?
tomorrow, 20
Yeah,
CST.
yeah, we're special
Yeah, I am
forces
not wrong.
next.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's like 2 tiers of like teams in TPM. There's like A tier and B tier, and I feel like Napoli and Special Forces are the only 2 like B tier teams that are in the playoffs. So I feel like Napoli has a very good chance to beat Special Forces, especially with our addition of Poulter, who's like a god at attacking. Um, I don't know. now that we have Volter on our team. But I'm looking. I feel pretty optimistic about our chances to beat Special Forces. I think we have a very good chance to beat them.
Yeah, and we are going to talk about the transfers that happened this week later on, but since you mentioned it, you have the strong addition of the cyber defender that you mentioned. You have also the Polish player in defense. I don't know what's his name, right?
Krzyzek.
Yeah. You have the addition of him.
I want to talk about Krzyzek's one issue with him later, because recently
How do you say his name?
Krzyzek.
Okay.
I don't really know. I'm probably mispronouncing it. Ilval can give me a lesson about it later, like he promised to weeks ago already.
Anyways, what were you saying? Sorry.
So what do you think about the transfers like Grubic and Krzyzek?
Yes, say it again.
Thank you, Ilval. You're really
I think we don't know if he plays to work in this point.
Yeah. I feel like, well, if I looked at the lineup for it, I think Gervich was going to play goalkeeper. I don't think I've ever played with him when he was goalkeeper, so I don't know how well he's going to do. I'm assuming if he's replacing you as goalkeeper and
Yeah.
Vesco isn't playing goalkeeper, that I'm assuming he's pretty good. But I don't have an opinion because I've never seen him.
Just to bring some statistics in, and not promoting Napoli's squad at all, Grubic, by statistics, is the best European goalkeeper right now, followed by Ilval.
Okay. Well, that's good then. And then Kershik or whatever.
Yeah, good try.
I butchered that. He's a solid defender. I didn't see him on the main lineup, but I know he's like, if he plays, we're in good hands. I guess I'll say. Like, he's not at all a bad defender. Like,
Yeah, that's very well
that's
put.
definitely a solid addition to our team.
Yeah, that's very well put.
Alright, well, I gotta get going here.
So yeah, thank you for joining us, Darren.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Okay, now to the next one. 1.23, and Darren already have talked about a great defender doing great against nothing, doing great against Kiev, which he had mentioned. I believe he made team of the round twice.
Yeah. He's a very solid defender, and he constantly undervalues himself in our chats in during games. You know, I think he should be more determined about his abilities, because he's a very decent defender. His body play is on point, his positioning is on point, and definitely we would be a very worse club without him right now. If we look at normal Napoli games, every second goal basically comes from assist or mark, so he does a very good job. And I definitely want to see him in the main lineup in playoffs as well.
And I want to say completely beyond right now he's a busy guy, but I have seen him play only once in a game, which was the game I guessed against Kiev. Sorry, I didn't guess that match. I just did that confused and completely.
Yeah.
But I watched that match, and man is such a nice striker.
Yeah, he plays very fluidly. You know, he covers ground very easily. You know, we have two top Greek defenders in game, Karagunis and Mark. And you know, if I'd have to say right now, Mark seems to be more impressing for me, because I haven't even seen Karagunis play lately at all.
Okay, moving on, we go to special forces players. We have experience with
Yeah, Bruno. Well, I don't know if it is a surprise that he has performed well, but he's a great player. In last leagues, he played in Napoli. He played in various clubs, but now landed in special forces. And I think Ibrahimovic did a very good job with him, capturing him and not forcing him, but putting him into the special forces tactics, and he works really well in there. And we don't see much solo effort from him either. He does very good inside the team's framework. Yeah, he's top of the assist leader, but that's very surprising indeed. Yeah. But it just shows that he has great link up right now with Ibrahimovic, with Paskid, with PJ, and the synergy in that club is really strong. Yeah, nobody really knew about that guy before the group stage, anyways, and even in the early rounds. But in the late performances, he really shined. You know, scoring 2 against New Factory just like that is really big effort. So. He's very great on the wing. He works as an attacker as well, but he seems to be more of a attacking wing player. You know, a similar I would compare with Fadi from New Factory. Yeah, definitely. And what you said, 2 random guys. Well, actually, you know, in 1 or even 2 team of the weeks, two uh, two special forces defenders have made into the team of the week, and it's yeah, Skiro and Ruslan, yeah. And what did you say? Yeah, and they have also played really well, you know. Like the whole team of special forces is just really solid. Oh, yes, Kuribak played 1 game as a goalkeeper, 1 game as an on-field player, and that was about it for him. Tamai came in, nobody expected him to do well. Well, we didn't see much of him in the early rounds because New Factory wasn't tested that much, but it became clear that he has a very good sense of goalkeeping, good positioning, great ability to come out at right times and gather balls from crosses and passes, which he does now still. And I'd say No Factory definitely has the star goalkeeper they need now. Yeah, you know, he was put under a lot of pressure. I remember I knew nothing about the Kiak squad as well when the group stage started, and then people started telling me like, hey, that numbers guy is really good, and when I saw him play, yeah, he was a surprisingly good goalkeeper as a completely new player. You know, goalkeeper position is probably probably the hardest in TPM. You know, and he handled it really well. And well, you know, yeah. Other than Delict, who is experienced, but you know has troubles playing in European servers, of course. And then the second defender, you know, changed. But Yeah, he definitely did a very good job, you know, especially I think goalkeepers tend to do a good job, you know, when they are put under a lot of pressure, but they can shine without too much defensive interruptions, you know, uh, like in special forces, let's say Yashin isn't that much brought out because the defensive efforts are as good as the goalkeeping efforts, but in Kayak it's totally different. Yeah. Yes, the Supper and Splice duo was really good for Kiak, and I expect to see more of them for if in Santa Claus as well in the new league season if they continue there. Uh, yeah, I forgot because basically those two basically were twins, and I really want to see more of them. They had really great togetherness. It's like seeing I don't know Facepalm and Jacobe synergy exchanging passes in the boxes and around it, confusing enemy defenders. You know, definitely very great players. Yeah, if I have to say one thing, and another crew without Catfish is nothing. If Catfish doesn't play, you can see a lot of shakiness, a lot of errors in their defense. Even though Brewer is a great defender, Krujek even better, you know. It just seems like Catfish decides the lineup, decides the tactics, and with Catfish they have really improved. And Catfish, of course, has the tendency to not sign players at the right time, and he isn't as active as a manager as probably some are, but he does his job really well inside the team, and as a defender, he is really solid as well. Yeah, yeah. No, you can talk about it if you want because I added him in because I just think that out of all underdogs players, you know, he was the surpriser, even though he was already the young star of the last league season. Yeah, we will see what the future holds for him. He left for a while, but right now he rejoined. Probably will finish the cup in underdogs. We don't know what's going to happen with underdogs for sure, but we will see in the coming weeks. Last one on the list is Grbic, and I decided to add him because he did a very good job in Not a Cruise attack. You know, he has solid free kicks ability. He surprised Rogue with his shots. He surprised many teams with that, and underdogs especially. You know, he did some very sneaky moves, and I think he shines both as a goalkeeper and an attacker, to be honest. And you know, he just needs more routine, more experience. Yeah, PJ, who should have been on this list actually. Yeah. 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 If I'd have to say, underdogs had that big downfall in the middle of the season with the suspensions, with the LM controversy, with some players not playing at all, like Casper basically quitting. But I think Lala was the key to now no Kerelos was the key to the defensive and goalkeeping effort that was needed, and I think he was like the most focused on the games in that time period, because we saw a lot of headlessness from others. I wanted to add someone else. I forgot right now. I think that was Hans Krankel. He has done a very good job as a defender. Of course, Rogue hasn't been really tested. It's hard to say anything. Uh, yeah, definitely. But Hans just wins. Yeah, yeah. Hans just wins a lot of duels. He's like the key component in that defense, and whoever you have with him. Meanwhile, Mlody, he just does his thing really well, and obviously the number one choice as a defender for Rogue Family right now. But yeah, so we'll move on to the disappointments in the group stage and for the season right now. Well, what do you want to point out first? Yeah, and it's just yeah, there wasn't that pleasuring moment of real good defense. I mean, obviously, Krzysiek did his job with clearing with headers and so on. Catfish had some good moments with tackles, but as in the end, especially we saw how Rogue dissected their defense by spreading out the players in attack, so they couldn't keep the central defenders in the box, so someone else had to defend, and that kind of happened in other games as well for them. Defenders not staying put, not covering wings all the time, so it happened a lot. Yeah, yeah. Some could say that this was just a lucky game and something from years ago when there wasn't a proper foul system and card system. But yeah, Snazzy overall. I mean, of course, they merit the second spot, but the game against Rogue, well, they tend to adapt really well to opponents. Like the game against Napoli, they They played passively first half, but they turned on the pressure. You know, they take on the lead slowly, and they try to take the midfield control. But against Rogue, you just can't really do that unless you have really great passing and great reflexes, because you have to follow their movement all the time. And that's kind of what happened against Rogue. You know, they failed with that following of Rogue's play. Uh, yeah. Yeah, if I go into underdogs deeply now, well, their style, especially the style of start and what they played in the last game against New Factory, very much reminds me of old New Factory, where LM and Rico still played together. That balance between quick passing, but at the same time like long balls and just trying to get full pitch control. But for underdogs right now, it really hasn't worked out that well. You know, some teams really mowed over them, like you know, special forces did a good job and so on. So. Yeah, Casper definitely the Hamza style player of underdogs who likes to cuts inside. You know, thinks a lot before passing or crossing, but plays intelligently. And I think his absence in the middle of the group stage was really noticeable for underdogs. And it's sad he hasn't returned for now, but let's hope he will someday. Yeah, he played in Rogue Family after gaining a lot of popularity, but then he went a bit inactive, got kicked from there. I guess underdogs picked him up. LM saw his potential, liked his playstyle, but again wasn't active, skipped games, and we never really saw him. But he definitely was a very great player. A bit technical, even better than Polter, I would say, a bit. But I'd still like to see him to make comparisons, you know. Yeah, I'm. The story on Starfall is really sad because it's like in real life football. You know, if you get stuck in a strong team, you know, you get loaned up repeatedly, you get forgotten, and basically you have no potential anymore. And this like happened to him after joining Rogue because you don't get play time. I mean, he was really good, but of course he wasn't as active, and then probably they thought that you know it's not meritable to build on him, you know. But I am surprised that he didn't join any other team permanently. I mean, I personally tried contacting him, and then he said that yeah, he doesn't have that much time to play like on a well continuously. Yeah, yeah. But but I really hope to see him more because in all the past leagues, I think he played in Reborn for was it that Golden State Warriors? I think was the French team, and he what? Porto, yeah, I think, yeah, I think he played in Porto there. Yeah, I'm not mistaken. And I know the past leagues he has been very strong key in his team. So I hope he returns as well. Yeah, you know, it's those weird decisions that usually cost you play time. That's why I've personally decided against joining any other team than Napoli. That you know, I don't want to join a team that's overly competitive. And well, it's good that he rejoined with new factory now. Maybe he can play more often now and get his form back. But it was a weird decision to join a rogue family, as they already had that lineup ready, you know, and Rogue aren't going to change the lineup mid-season. Yeah, he was a very good player in the league, but uh, that was a weird decision really to leave for Rogue. He could have been probably even key player for Underdogs. Yeah. Mr. now on on the other hand, well, not making any puns, but Mr. is a mystery. This guy joined Galatasaray to get play time, but in the end didn't play there either, and now he has been searching for new teams, but isn't really active either. Yeah, he did join, but he hasn't played, if I'm correct. Maybe one game, I think, but he hasn't played. Like I remember Kyrie Irving play of the debutants, but not Mister. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, it's a great place to grow from again, but he's basically starting again, but from the start. But he's a very great player. I don't know why he decided to take that step to Galatasaray and then leaving it. Well, we will never know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, the commentary scandal against in the Snazzies against Rogue game. Okay. Yeah. Additional Lumpy Q and menace to Underdogs United. Well, uh, I think it's just yeah. Lumpy Q has opened his statistics table in Underdogs, but we haven't seen Menace even play. I think one game max, and uh, well, Underdogs basically haven't really improved that much as a team with them inside. The question, what? Yeah, you know, if we look at Underdog's squad, like what's wrong with it? LM, Nurmio, Sai, Uxie, Kerolos, what's wrong with it? It's like the top level club, you know, and no need for additions. But in the end, someone, you know, skips games and it's not as consistent as Rogue is, and then they seek out the improvements by trying to sign in new players or letting random players play, and that's what happened when they fell apart against Special Forces. And yeah, well, this is a very long story, but yeah, yeah. Well, he yeah, like he's the Maradona of TPM. You know, he's basically the best European player, but yet he likes to surround himself in scandals, leaking, you know, passwords and then gaining match ban and then OG gaining a match ban because he insulted the management of the league and so on. You know, it could have gone on endlessly if underdogs would have got their stuff together, and basically, I think the calmer players in there, like Pegasus, told them to step down now and focus on the league, on the cup. Well, I added Kiak with rowing because it was disappointing to see, because we would have seen another very interesting game like Kiak against Napoli. Uh, Yeah, it's just, you know, the timing was really funny because they still had all their options available for them, and it was really positive looking as well because they got new signings like Itiba in instead of Glazy, and then you know, it's just like why did you try then in the last rounds? Because they said, of course, that the game is, you know, unbalanced, and they can't really put up a fight anymore against the top clubs, but. You know, the only fight they had to put up against was Napoli, and then they could have still made a statement with that, because you know, who could have known? Maybe they could have made stronger transfers in the playoff rounds and go on, but that's that. Okay, should we move on from this now? Group stage defining moments. Well. Yeah, sure. Well, Darren Polka in Hamza Amdallah online. Napoli recovers from 2 consecutive defeats. Well, yeah, we had to motivate ourselves really much to get that play together. Darren Polka coming in was really a very uplifting for everyone, and the game against Nordic Crew is probably our biggest achievement in our competitive history, because playing one man down the whole game. Against a team that isn't actually bad, you know, and stronger than you, is a great achievement. Yeah, you know, Special Forces is like uh, you know, they joined in 2019, and it's like the story of if a new club with completely new players actually has great management and carries on, because we've seen so many clubs like that fail, like I don't know, um, RSPL and so on. So I think Ibra just made a very good job with developing the club and giving everyone play time and so on. And I think the all the players themselves were really interested in carrying on. Yeah, you know, I remember at the start of the cup, everyone was like, "Oh, LM10 is playing. Oh, Facefarm is playing. You know, there is no chance for other players, and the table is just going to be really lopsided for the top teams." But Polter really ruptured that with his performances. New Factory mercilessly punishes Underdogs United in the first round. Underdogs United returns the favor in the last one. Well, uh, Underdogs. Yeah, and Underdogs really failed against New Factory in that first game. They had a strong lineup. Yeah, and you know, they had their main lineup, and it's just everything went wrong there. And New Factory with their long ball game actually just overrun everything in the Underdogs tactics. So. But it seems that Underdogs have got their stuff together now. The last game against No Factory, well, it was really tight. No Factory wasn't probably in that shape that they were in last rounds, but it seems that LM10 have got his has got his groove back, you know. Yeah.
But for now, Bobek saving Napoli from losing to Kiev and position is potentially missing player. And you know, you played that match, you made a position in the state as a goalkeeper.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really, split second moment there when nobody really understood what was going on, and it was great that Mumek managed to clear it there. And then when the last minute goal came, when man we were definitely going mad. What? Oh, I didn't get what you were saying, man.
Because I interviewed you after that game, and I didn't realize that you scored in the last minute, and I thought,
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, well, the fact that it came so late, it just adds to the emotions, and we joke about that ourselves that it made Kia quit, but yeah, in the end they played really well, and we were on the verge of losing because we gave up too easily in this game actually.
okay, before we move to the next part, thank you for joining us, our viewers. We are very much for 1 hour and going on.
Yeah, thank you for joining. If we are still watching, I think we have 9 viewers live right now. Thank you for watching. So we have the playoffs bracket here. Playoffs already start tomorrow with Napoli against Special Forces. Then on Sunday we have very late games, Snazzies against Underdogs. What can we say about that?
Yeah, the match between Special Forces and Napoli, unfortunately, looked at a competition to see who wants to get beaten or not. I really expect the match to be competitive. It's not that they keep moving the ball. I believe they will come and back up with the match that people focus on is Underdogs against Nantes. We're talking about two teams that are already beaten to factoring that in stage. So, yeah, we're looking forward to see who these matches will be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, many players think that Rogue is just so dominating right now that it's just hopeless to even try against them. But you have to try your best, and somehow you have to develop the strategy to defeat them. You have to develop that team sense to defeat them. And even if the one who carries on from that pair and loses against Rogue Family, they still get to play in the third place game, and it's still a long way to go. What's next is against Underdogs. Well, I think that's going to be a very interesting game. 2 games actually. Well, the winner means new fact. Yeah.
The last time these two played against each other, we saw a forfeit. I don't understand what happened there. The match was played, but this is for the forfeit.
That basically happened because Underdogs used Campbell, who was signed into the squad of Napoli, and they couldn't have transferred him either because they had already transfer cap on, which means whatever the score was, I think Snazzy won that anyway, but it was reduced to that 5-0 victory for Snazzy. I think the final score was actually like 7-0 or something. It just came around like in the middle of the game, so yeah, it was a very funny moment.
Let's talk about, the teams individually now.
Yeah.
We talk about the transfer.
Yeah, transfers first. We're talking about the Karagunis transfer here. Karagunis left Rook family for new factory.
The only player,
Yeah.
the only player who left a team that's in playoff to move to another team that's in playoff.
Yeah, basically so, and very interesting transfer, to see how he actually plays for new factory. If we theoretically and very most probably see some kind of either Rogue or new factory in final. But Wool is coming into Rogue family. He has been playing recently more often, and he has been customizing his playstyle for TPM, and he is doing a pretty decent job now, and I guess Rogue family is giving him a chance. hard to say. Is he going to make a first team appearance? I guess not, but it's just a very safe backup option, you know, for our family. But the camo replacement in New Factory now, yeah, that strikes us a bit funny to me, because Camo got just signed by New Factory from Not a Crew, you know. So I don't know where Camo is going and what's his plans now. So he joined as well, yeah. Well, he was very promising. I mean, I saw him playing Not a Crew, you know. He was a promised striker of Not a Crew, but in the end, you know, I guess the competitiveness in Not a Crew striker position probably threw him off, and he got invited by Drosta, which is, you know, a big thing. But I guess they didn't see him as a viable option. You know, they already have Levisan, they have Kyrie, they have many players who can play in attack. So, but moving on to Snazzies, so two pairs of transfers here, Keddy and Poisoned out. We haven't seen Keddy at all basically, but we have seen Poisoned, I think, and he's a very decent Dutch player. Has played in Young Lads in past as well, I think, but probably playing in Young Lads now, right?
Yeah, both of them are playing in Young Lads.
Yeah.
Kelly has been busy and good.
Yeah.
He said that he will be until the next.
Well, that's great. But Chocolate and Finesse in, also two players who haven't been actually that active, but who have been.
Is it chocolate or chocolate? Because there is a comma over there.
Yeah, that makes me think as well, you know. But if it's like a Frenchie, then the comma or apostrophe should be on top of the like a strike. So I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But Finesse we have seen, sorry, in Underdogs, played very decently there, but didn't get his playtime there, and probably had issues with other midfielders there, so decided to switch. And also, you know, a Portuguese player, so he should fit right in there with Hofs and rest of the crew in Snazzies.
And I'd like to add,
Yeah.
confidence is something that not a stranger to this, right?
Yeah,
He has confidence, he has the playing style.
yeah, he's one of the boldest and bravest players I have seen, definitely. Yeah, if he develops his abilities, he has potential to be one of the greatest players in the game and one of the greatest midfielders. So the Napoli transfers, Campbell unlisted. Well, there was, you know, like I said, there has been a lot of controversy around Campbell, because he doesn't play and he doesn't show up for games, even if he is expected to. So we decided to unlist him, even though he promised to play at the start of the season. Leroy Jenkins unlisted, joined Young Lads. Yeah, wanted to add something?
Man, I like how this guy has all the inside information about Napoli. I wonder how the Napoli.
Dio Smith and Liverpool is Bulls. Well, none of them play that often, so removed from the squad.
Yeah, I never thought this.
Yeah. And some kind of issue here now?
No, it doesn't start again.
What?
Let's start again.
I did, but it got stuck now. Wait, yeah. So the transfers Napoli made, sorry, well, I talk as a manager. So Krzyzek, Grubic, and Polter. Polter basically, well, from Leamington, Polter coming actually from Not a Crew, so he technically was like a free agent as well. It is a loan from Not a Crew right now, as he still plays there. Istanbul, the same thing, you know, he has traveled around, tried to join Underdogs, but didn't get registered, so basically a free agent. Grubic decided to join us now on loan as well, because he joined the Special Forces already many rounds ago, and Krzyzek the same, so basically Napoli just doing the necessary improvements to get some strength into the squad. Well, I think we are going on to analyze the teams now.
Yeah, randomly just a normal day, you know, they wake up, I don't know what work, go outside, whatever. They just
Yeah, and that's their their daily dose of happiness. uh, very very confident, of course. 8 games all won.
By the way, the bracket is from
Yeah. Basically, the only really tight game was against Special Forces that really made Rogue Family actually play a bit passively, but of course Special Forces had to defend a lot in that game, but it did show that there can be a chance that Rogue Family can be won. Goals for, well, 4.4 per match. That just shows how potent they are in attack. Goals against only 4 allowed from Snazzy, Kiek, and Napoli. Anything like you'd like to add here? I really don't know what to say about them.
no, we don't need to talk much. We just talk quickly and the difference is
Yeah. So Snazzy is the second place owner of Group A. Games played 8. They won 6 and lost 2, and they only lost games, of course, against Rogue Family.
And I already said that we haven't seen how they are on these matches. One of the leaders of the team, one of the top players in the team, but we haven't seen much of him. And once he played as a goalkeeper, which is not the very obvious for me.
Yeah, it's just weird that Snazzy is like a very very good team, of course, but even with they have 39 goals scored, 4.9 per match. That would be even higher if the goals from the cancelled match against underdogs would come into account. But they do have some rotation. Their defense is not as strong as Rogue, and probably that's the difference. That comes into effect, and probably Ilval also not on the level of Rogue goalkeepers. But I think we will move on to Napoli then. 7 games played because rest were cancelled. Lost games 4, games tied 2, and won 1, which came against Galatasaray, the game where Galatasaray had 1 player less as well. What to say? Well, leaky defense, but attack is trying to compensate for it. And that cancelled game against Kiek was definitely sad for both sides, because if Kiek would have continued, then I think, well, no matter the result, the winning team would have gone on more confident, I think.
I think about it, not a good defense, Napoli's offense will make a good difference because, as you said, League is the only team players that are minus for the team.
Yeah. But yeah,
I mean, now you have a team not a good.
yeah, yeah, and definitely Napoli being the weakest team in the playoffs. Well, it'd be interesting to see how with the new players now they will play. New factory, first place, of course. Like probably everyone is expected, but they are still remaining humble.
We expected more competition from the
Yeah, that didn't happen. 10 games because they managed to play against all active opponents. So games won 7, 1 tied, 2 lost. They lost against Nazis and they lost against underdogs. That's from the last rounds. Well, basically they secured their group win already in round 8. So basically these games did not really matter for them. But
Yeah, but look at the difference that Kiro made.
yeah, definitely that's huge. When Kiro doesn't play, it's very obvious that like Levy said himself to me. I think it wasn't in an interview, but he said to me himself that if you replace Kiro with Sentai, it throws the balance in New Factory out, and they need to play a bit differently than normal.
Yeah, and it's funny because the first 8 rounds they received 8 goals, and then in 2 rounds they received the same amount of goals they received this team.
Yeah. Goals for 40, also very massive, of course, 4 per match exactly. Goals against 16, which is a bit leaky for a top side, but nothing to worry about really for them. Because basically their motto is we don't care how much you score, we still score more. I think like I get that energy from them.
And you know, the choice in first place, and I think both I mentioned this because once they got the first place, it wasn't the
Yeah, of course. Well, but you know, well, they did get some. They did let some mistakes in the last rounds. You know, we saw that Levy and Tamai communication error where the Levy scored his own goal, and some other ones. But in the end, you know, they did their job and they stay humble about it and they just focus on one game at a time. So special forces, special indeed. Well, they really made a very great entrance into the cup. 6 games won, 2 tied, 2 lost, but in a group like that, they did an amazing job. Not to count the game against Rogue Family as well, because you know they had that very tough cross-group game.
I don't think I have much to say about them.
Yeah, we have talked about special forces already. Yeah. Underdogs. Well, we can go on more detailed about that. 6 games won, 1 tied, but 3 lost. So in the end, they stayed under special forces. Thanks to terrible results against special forces. Like you have pointed out here, LM10 star player absent in 3 matches. Casper nowhere to be seen after like round 2. So
He played like exactly 60 minutes in the
yes. So it was the first game, yeah.
yeah, not even a good match.
Yeah, it was the first game that also it caused a lot of rumors about, you know, the team quitting or something because of the 1-8 defeat. But well, they have recovered, but we will see what they can do in the playoffs.
That's the team that won the previous league, mainly or maybe solely because of the goal difference. And you see the goal difference was just 5.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's more because they have conceded a lot of goals, and it's not even due to bad goalkeeping or exactly not like bad defense. It's just the inability to play as a whole team. But they have been improving it in the past rounds now. Well, but that's it for analyzing the teams as well now. What would you like to add?
If you have nothing to add, then let's move.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I did want to add, like I promised earlier, to talk about Krzyzek. What happened with him is basically, as we loaned him, his second name, you know, the fake chaff name, got basically quarantined by administration team because we thought that it's just difficult to understand for new players. What? Yeah, that it's misleading, exactly, and like, yeah, we know it's an inside joke, right? Everybody knows this, but if new players come, you know, they try to talk to him, and that's happened way too many times. Hoffs himself said that even he has had these moments where he confuses Krzyzek with Chef because of the nickname, and right now his account has been named as placeholder, so we will see if he plays with Krzyzek in Napoli tomorrow or not. Or with the second account, which he has the power to rename, but nothing that impersonates others. Because we had a lot of these impersonating scandals in the game, and these just have to stop. Not saying anything about you using real Reina though. Like that's we everyone understand. Like, who are you?
I don't understand what you're talking
But yeah, anyways, let's move on to interviews. Is there anyone willing to step up?
about. Right now,
Yeah, we have some listeners on Discord as well, not just on YouTube.
Yeah, they can like them.
We have Mumik. Hello, Mumik. Welcome. Can you hear us?
We will leave this on the screen for professionalism. Professionalism. Anyway, how is okay, how are you?
I am very proud that my goal went pretty easy. It's achievement for me, and I think that it's a big my career that I need to be better than this girl.
Well,
What was it you before we more and improve my skill?
yeah,
Before I ask you anything, I have a question.
yeah.
How many times will you keep making my heart, my daughter, you break it? You know, at the first match against Paul, that shot to the post, and then the moment you scored in the last moment, and I didn't know about that. Are you targeting me or something? Maybe you are.
You just
Alright.
remind me about close, it was so close, and I still feel so sad about this moment. Because this goal change much.
Definitely.
What do you think? Are you going to continue in Napoli, or do you want to join Snazzies or Young Lads? What would be your future steps in TPM?
I don't know, I respect Kanza, but I think Kanza will Napoli, I won't stay in Napoli. So simple at least. I just see how Kanza always learning under guys, and I can play team where I can build any fields. And you can't play any tactics or something like that.
Well,
Yeah, definitely. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I assume you after the league, let's talk about your next league match. What do you expect to be the outcome of your match against Special Forces?
I know that if you have much guys from special forces every day, when I come, when I came to the game, as I remember, in the year 2018, I played I beat matches and left the game for a year, and I again started playing in 2018 in Europe 2019, and when I played, I think about Russian speaking community, and they came, they played wet at the start, but every day they improved, and now we can see Russian speaking community in the cup playoff stage, and I think that it's very good. And if you ask me about my feels about coming match, I think that it's a hard game, just we need to prepare and try to lose.
do you think, like you said, that the Russian community is pretty big in TPM, of course. Do you think there will be more Russian teams in TPM because Leamington, disbanded, which was the major second one aside Special Forces?
I don't know. Now we can see another big person like Gregorich, who was Gregorich made his own team, his own family, and he's like big boss ruling team. And it's sad, but I can see another one, Gregorich, Russian speaking community. I think that we won't see new big Russian teams. But I hope that one day see maybe 2 or 3 teams from Russian community, big teams, and they play cups. That's what they're not.
Okay, thank you for that input, Mumik. Do you have anything to ask, Said?
No, but if you have anything you'd like to say moving on.
I just like to say follow your dreams and hope to be good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nancy's play of movement who plays for Napoli, showing you an example of how to be correct. Okay, would you like to elaborate or should we
I think we can move on to the next interview if someone is interested. So, as usual, raise hands. Yeah.
I mean, he said he's interested in it.
I see.
For now, we have only seen a representative of Napoli series, 2 of them.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen anybody from the other team. Maybe online would like to share his opinion on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want this stream to be too one-sided now.
Give me a moment. Okay, until we get some interviews, let's see what we can speak about.
Yeah, I'm definitely asking everyone to stay tuned for tomorrow. The Napoli and Special Forces playoff game is going to happen on 8 p.m. Central European Summer Time. So stay tuned for that. And on Sunday we also have the Snazzy and Underdogs game at a later time, 10 p.m. Central European Summer Time.
I would just say we didn't talk about the disappointment that much of Romeo and someone people expect very much better, but I don't think that upset performance was.
Yeah, we see him. We see him more link up with LM10. They tend to play together well. But if LM is missing, Normio seems to be missing as well. He has to defend, and then the game plan falls apart, and then he doesn't seem that important anymore on the pitch. But if he gets to play with LM, then he does it well.
Okay, let's have the next here.
Oh yes. Hello and welcome.
Hello. So,
You're good, how about
yeah, I'm doing good. I just finished the call.
you've been playing for Underdog, but you moved to another team that will be in playoffs or Nazis. You're a player that even before joining us, the management has been talking about
and I really appreciate it, and I just want to be the best player possible.
Can you shed some light exactly what happened in the underdogs? Because you played at times when some key players were missing and underdogs were a bit shaky and they didn't seem to produce the results that were expected of them.
Yeah, I mean the team wasn't really doing well in terms of management. Um, Many players who weren't like supposed to be in the team, I guess, were there. Like for me, for example, like I didn't know why I was invited because I was a really new player. I hadn't been playing for years. Um, but yeah, um, the team wasn't really doing well. Um, People weren't really like getting well with each other. Wasn't really that much chemistry on the team, and that really showed in the cup games. So yeah, I just thought of myself if that was the team I really wanted to be in, and I'm glad that I moved to Snazzies.
Yeah, and for you, it's an interesting dynamic. Should you play in the next match, you will be playing against the team you used to play.
Yeah, I don't know yet. I would be really happy to play. Definitely would be my second cup game, I guess, but this time would be in the team. I'm really happy to be in, and I've learned more. I'm a different player, and I just hope to be in the lineup.
Yeah,
What do you think about your abilities itself? We discussed you right before, and how bold and brave you are actually on pitch because you seem to be a player that knows what he's doing and up there with very smart midfielders like let's say Screwybuck has been or Juidos for that matter.
Yeah, I think my game is kind of like of a flashy one. I like to do skills, but it was a problem to me before because I had zero game sense. So, I'm a new player. I started playing in 2018, but I only played for 2 months, and then I stopped playing, and I came back 2 months earlier this year. So I have little game sense, but with the help of Doritos, he's the main player that has helped me to make my game better and smarter. But I still have my style that some people like. Do a lot of skills, try to do a lot of 1v1s. So yeah, I just hope I can evolve my style even more.
Who do you think will win the cup eventually? Are are you confident in Snazzy?
Yeah, I'm really confident in my team. I think that my team will improve even more. The players, everyone has great potential. They're amazing players. I look up to them, and I think that my team has the potential to win the cup.
yeah. Would you like to say anything to the viewers to the members of your team?
Yeah, I really like to thank my team for everything it has done. We have great potential, as I said. Um, a big thanks to Widows. He's the main player that puts very much trust in me. I really am thankful for that. And I just want to say that I'm gonna keep improving. I'm trying to be the best player in the world, and I think I'm gonna get there. And I'm very thankful for this interview, guys. I really appreciate it, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
No problem, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, good luck. So that's it for now for interviews, unless Silva wants to join us. What do you think,
Yeah,
Said?
I believe there are some people who want to join. Anyway, anytime you want to join, just raise your hand. We can. So let's talk about transfers and how expensive you have entered. Currently, will join another team or will we stay and play?
Well, the most of the time he has played in New Factory, and he just fit in there so well, uh, in the times old No factory, when we still saw Element there. So I expect him to continue there because I think he's a very good wing player as well. Even if Drosten and Kiro defend, he could play on wing or vice versa. We see Kiro playing more attacking recently, so I think he will fit in there.
Alright, I have my sources and they tell me that Karadunis will be playing for San Diego after this competition, and I can't confirm because the news are out, and that is
All right. Well, I'll trust you in that one. Well, Not a Crew definitely have been building for the new league season. I mean, if you look at all the transfers from, the Leamington players coming in, players like
and I can tell you that Karadunis, Ujame,
Sweet Pumpkin.
that work very well for this. I can see what it will be possible.
Yeah, like Widowmaker said to me, since he joined Napoli temporarily, but he then decided to join Not a Crew because he said Polter is a big role model for him, and he wants to play with him. Like it's great that Polter took his friend circle, and they went to Not a Crew, and I think they can improve Not a Crew as well in this way. We have someone actually to talk about, the new Romanian club Blue Lions, who are rumored to be joining the new league season, and people say that Levy himself said that he might be helping them as well if they do join the league. So we will see very interesting stuff in the summer.
Yeah, and Camo, the player that just was released from the factory with young on the transfer,
Very interesting. Yeah, just earlier he played some games with with Napoli. We didn't know who he was, but I guess now we got the picture.
Yeah, let's talk about more about that later because we have Mokin from Young Lad. I mean, sorry.
That's nice. He's
How do I make up for my mistake?
Mokian is still important enough, to stay in Snazzy. Okay, but Mokian, if you'd like to join for an interview, you can raise your hand and.
I don't think he knows how to just
Yes, he has come.
everybody understands.
That system is new to me as well. That Discord presenting platform. Welcome, Mokian.
Yeah. How you stand?
We are fine now, but
Yeah, I'm good.
so with either out of the picture, people thought Snazzy is maybe weaker offensively, but you joined, you played your role, and even before the match against Germany or the first one, you were the one who got that one. So the people believing that was the answer. I believe you are the answer.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. It's a big claim to step up to because Zealand's obviously a lot better than me, in my opinion. So I was a bit shaky in the name factory game because I felt like I needed to answer, to a lot of questions.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like that. The way you played was really good.
Thanks. I'm just hoping that we can, get to the final and get revenge against Rogue,
Ryan, anything you like that?
Yeah, as a Snazzy player himself, Hofs has been playing more as an attacking player, and we have seen him more link up with you, Mokian. Do you think this is like the better lineup for Snazzes? It seems to be working for the past two rounds very well.
Yeah, I think getting Hobbs forward is what we need because he's a great playmaker hope this is an easy good plan.
You did a very nice job against New Factory in the sense of you managed to tackle Drozdov and played very well in that game. Do you think you have the ability to play against such defenders? And what do you think, like compared to LM? What level are you on?
I mean, I know I'm pretty, like, I think I need a lot more experience from data playing. You know, like when it comes to like a cup atmosphere, I think I play that bit nervous. But if I play like the way I play in normal like Charles, I think I can be, you know, solidify my spot as one of like great player.
Okay. One of your friends, Dano, you know him, right?
Yeah, it's my brother.
Oh yeah, your brother. Do you expect him to, you know, be one of the magic players going forward in the promising future potential?
Yeah, I guess a lot of match up in, you know, teaching him a couple of things, and he just needs to keep playing. Young lads have a great setup for him, so he keeps playing there and proves himself. He can definitely make it in the sausage.
Yes, Ryan, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I know this has been discussed for years. That you know Ireland has some players, but do we expect to see an Ireland national team? Because we do have you, your brother LM10, his brother potentially if he could play. Maybe it could be a possibility in the future.
Yeah, I've talked about it with LM, and I've got two other friends who have hopped on the game. They're not that active, but they've been trying to play here and there. We can train them up. I mean, I think we can definitely be a decent squad.
That's great to hear because we are planning some form of international competition in late spring or for summer if it's going to be a bigger one.
Yeah,
So yeah,
the international cups would be great.
yeah. So do you have anything to add?
No. If you have anything you'd like to add, please go ahead and give us that.
I'd like to say, you know, thanks to Elva, you know, for pushing the cup and used to as commentators. You guys have done great on the YouTube channel, commentating on all the games.
Yeah, really hot work.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks and good luck.
Thanks.
Great, thank you, Eva.
Okay. Jason, would you like to join? Say your name. Yeah, we have another employee or a representative for none other than the top team representing the website selected for when it all was in Jason.
Hello.
Not too bad, thanks.
How are you, Reina?
I'm fine as well, thanks. So yeah, you go on, Said.
Alright, many people expect your team to win the entire thing. Is that the plan or you expect pickups from the other?
I think we've got a strong chance of winning. I think there's definitely maybe 3 teams who can win the whole thing. Or 3 teams who have got the strongest chances. I think it just comes down to how well teams play on the day. I think what we sort of excel in right now, just really disciplined in our top matches. I think we've only conceded like 4 or 5 goals. So I think that really sort of plays into our favour against the stronger teams.
Yeah, definitely. You conceded 4 goals in 8 rounds, but I believe if you played the next 2 rounds, not respect for the team that you, but I don't think anything would have changed about the goals.
But back to your question, yeah, sorry, I was going to say back to your question. Yeah, we're obviously trying to win. We'll just see what happens. I think our most difficult matches will probably be against Snazzies again, although we did beat them twice. And Factory.
You always have that one squad basically that plays. You have some changes in defense sometime, and we've seen Kapi in goal sometime instead of Riku. But do we expect to see some changes? Because we see the Wool transfer. Would he be expected to make a debut?
In all honesty, I can't see him playing. He's still new to TPM, and he's got some back issues, so I can't see him playing in any of the sort of the more important games. But I'd love for him to get used to the game more, because I think he'll be one of the, he was a top player on soccer camp, a top player on net soccer camp, so hopefully he can be a top player on TPM. But we'll see who turns up on the days. It's been quite fortunate that against some of our more important matches that we've had one of our stronger squads out. But we've got a really good squad depth. So, like you said, we've got Cappy who's been involved for us sometimes too. He's actually good performances. And yeah, we've got plenty of players who can sort of step up to the zone. That sort of quality is the top squad.
You've talked about these matches, but I believe the team that gave you the biggest challenge, not that it was a real challenge, but the team that gave you the biggest challenge in the group stage happens to be Special Forces. What do you think about that match?
Telling the truth, I didn't play that game. So I didn't watch it either. So I'm not too sure. I know it was close. I think it was 1-0.
Rogue basically had control over the match, but still, Special Forces played very well, and the goal that you guys scored was more of a mistake from their part.
Yeah, I think the thing with Special Forces, no disrespect to them, but PJ's an incredible player. I think without PJ, they would be nowhere near the same sort of caliber of team. But then again, we've got Ian Brook, who's a good player as well. Yeah, there'll be a challenging match as well, but I think Snazzies and the Factory the teams not bad for.
Yeah, you've been involved in a lot of background work with TPM actually recently, and I just wanted to raise awareness that you kind of do a lot of job for TPM now. And what do you see as the future of the game? Do we expect more? Do you think there will be more players and more activity in the summer again? And what?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Karen.
No, that's right now is not for me. I'm saying.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, it's gone. I think. Yeah, there's definitely. I can see a bright future for TPM. Like I say, I'm sort of actively involved in all the development side of it now. Chat and Hots, working on it as well. So I think if we can carry on with that and get a good foundation in place, there's an AMG UN coming up soon. We need that in place, ready for a future Steam release as well. So hopefully, we can build on our current community and get a decent player base in the future. I think that's the most important thing as well. That we haven't really got a good community in place already. Without that, we get really struggled.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen a lot of events, and we still want to push forward to the international events. We might be seeing UK with actually 2 teams. We don't know about it because they do have many players, and a lot of competitiveness. And in the selection.
Is this for the UK team?
What?
I'm sorry, we're just talking about the UK national team.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that there are a lot of players. Well, some are specifically from Scotland, some are England, some are from Ireland. But for now, maybe the international events will be held together with both like Ireland and UK for now. But like Mukian said, maybe one day we'll get enough for all nations to hold a proper event.
Yeah, I think we'll see how it goes. Like, back in the day, net soccer, we had dozens of English players and a couple of Welsh players.
Yeah, of
Everyone
course.
can build their own, like, all the home nations can build their own teams. Yeah, like I said, there's quite a few Irish players looking about at the moment, so there's potential for that to
Yeah, definitely.
build their own team. I think, yeah, for at least the foreseeable future, the rest of the home nations are going to have to team up together and build some sort of UK or GB squad.
Yeah.
Jacob, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while now. Unfortunately, I didn't get as many world matches or another world matches, but I believe that working as a board against is very strong. But I believe that you are one of the very good players, not just one, but in the game overall. You as a coach, do you think you're a top player?
Me personally, I think there's better players in there. I'm not always the most consistent players, but if they have a good game, then I can compete with the best players. I think there's definitely better players than me in Rogue, and there's better players than me in some of the other teams as well. I think what's best about my game is that sounds stupid for a football game, but I'm experienced, so I know what to do in certain situations. If we're holding on to a lead, then I know I need to play more defensively. And I think primarily playing as a midfielder. Probably one of the better positioning in terms of midfield in the game. Yeah, so Riku's.
Yes.
Any other questions you'd like to ask?
Not right now, no. Is there anything you'd like to add yourself, Jacob?
No, I don't think so. I just like to say I hope we get over Taylor Blackman back in the future.
Yeah, that was something I'm just talking about. What was the combination of
I'll hold on to
I was just hoping to say I'd be a bit more cheery about that, but okay.
No, that's it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I need to say. Yeah, cheers, Rob, mate.
Thank you for joining us.
No worries.
Okay, anybody else would like to add anything? We are here all night for breakfast.
Yeah, we are definitely going for some kind of wreck and stream today, and let,
Would you like to join us? Raise your hand. We are looking for it. Yeah,
well, hello, Blue.
Get that guy in. It's me. I can only be here for a short time, but I'm here.
Great.
Right, first of all, I'd like to say that last guy had no clue what he's on about, alright? You know, clearly he's the best in positioning. Come on, that guy has no clue.
He's
I'm
just
here to spaz up. I'm here to, you know, just get some shit talking. Snazzy's gonna win the cup, right? We're gonna bring it back. No. It's the same thing's gonna happen. Levi is gonna head back into the triangle when we get to the semis.
yeah, you're destined for the second stage. It's always been your destined.
No. Look, it's gonna be Rogue Snazzy final. It's clearly gonna be that. And we're not gonna choke because I will be picked for the final.
you just
And
Oh, I can't wait.
man just single-handedly destroyed Rogue Family by words. Like,
here's the thing, I know half of Rogue Family. I know them off by heart. And I will. This is the thing, they played against Rogue twice without me and they lost twice. That's all you need to know. I have a 100% win rate so far in the cup, so stats don't lie. There you go, that's a stat, write that stat down.
Oh, you wanted to mention you are and they're out. Anyway, this is
I've got a few minutes, so no, any questions?
wow, you are here for an interview, not
Sorry.
okay. So, are you saying that every just success from the one? That's the fun one, right?
I'm not saying they're not that strong about me. There's a really good team about me still, but I think my knowledge of the Rogue Family players specifically will give us the more advantage when we play against them. I know how to play against them, and I'll know how to win.
I see. My best answer, you were saying that I was not the stuff. I wasn't the one that I had to find it for them. And can keep on.
This guy loves me. You should see him in there.
all right, I see people heavily undervaluing Napoli here. Like, come on.
As you said,
I think are you saying that nobody is not good? Because I mentioned two teams that you wish to win and you don't see them.
I would say Special Forces are better than that team is. I mean, I don't think Napoli have a strong enough squad to go. I mean, it might beat Special Forces, but I wouldn't see them getting past Rogue.
I'm happy that we only have one person from Napoli listening to this currently at this moment. Like, others will skin you alive probably for that judgment, but okay.
Okay, I gotta go now. So thank you.
All right, thank you for joining us.
Cheers. Go Stasies. Thank you.
All right, great.
Guys, this guy was supposed to, analyze results, but with what he said right now, I believe this analysis will literally the entire process. So,
Yeah.
anyway, anybody would like to join the Maya? Anyone? Raise your hand. Anybody?
Yeah, special shout outs to Baron and Alex de Souza who have listened patiently from the start, basically, and Dove Lion as well.
Also, Ash of the
Yeah.
Alright, thank you for joining us and look forward to the player stage because I can feel that while group stage was exciting, the things we are about to get are even more.
Yeah, definitely. Our games will be streamed, and there will be more coverage around them, and we will try to make these kinds of things more frequent as well. So stay around.
Before we leave, who would we say is the player of the group stage?
Oh, that's a very good question, actually. It's really hard to say. I need to be thinking about that. But
I think PJ.
yeah, like Jacob brought out, PJ definitely brought some kind of new fresher into Special Forces, but well, he has been influential. Don't get me wrong, but just I think someone with more contribution from the start. I really don't know. Maybe some new factory player, but like Hero or Drostow, just because I mean, a bit more revolves around them because in Special Forces you also have Bruno and Ibrahimovic, and you know PJ like isn't like the only force in my opinion there.
Okay, guys, what you need to know is that dinner is late and my mother gave me that there because I delayed the dinner to deliver it. Yeah, I'm sorry, mother. I'm just for you. Thank you for joining us. I will hopefully be back with you guys with another match and more information tomorrow. Stay tuned and thank you for joining.
Yeah, maybe Blue will joining us as well, just for the banter. Thank you for joining us, everyone, and have a good night.
Soon, that is true.